I want to touch what is happening right now with our economy, the real estate market. The Fed Reserve has raised interest rates by 3 times already, by 0.75% every single time. Why are they doing it? Most people cannot understand why that is happening. The reason is very simple. The reason why they're doing it is because we're trying to curb inflation. With all this stimulus, with all the money that was given out, now we're trying to curb that because it has gotten so much out of control. In last year, and then even at the beginning of this year, it was just ridiculous. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back once again to our channel. And in today's video, touch with you something that is my area of knowledge. Now, I don't want to say expertise, but something that I deal with on a daily basis, on a day-to-day. This is very important that I share it with you because obviously, as you already know, the content of our video is mostly self-development. It's also about what can we do to overcome our fear, and at the same time, just give you a little bit of entertainment. I want to touch what is happening right now with our economy, and most importantly, the real estate market. The real estate market, that is my field. That is something that I do on a day-to-day basis. So I want to share with you some numbers that we're seeing here in our country, so that you therefore can be aware of what's happening in our real estate market. So now, since the beginning of, I want to say maybe April, May, the Fed Reserve has raised interest rates by 3 times already, 3 times by 0.75%, 0.75% every single time. Now, why are they doing that? Most people cannot understand why that is happening. Well, the reason is very simple. The reason why they're doing it is because we're trying to curb inflation. Everything that got out of control in the very first place to begin with all this stimulus, with all the money that was given out, now we're trying to curb that because it has gotten so much out of control. And then last year, and then even at the beginning of this year, it was just ridiculous in the real estate market. As far as you want to buy a house, maybe it was worth $400,000. People were lining up, giving you offers of 40 to 50, sometimes even $100,000 over asking price. Now, that is ridiculous. That should have never happened in the first place because it just threw everything out of place. So if the community houses were worth around $400,000. Now here comes a buyer from out of town, from out of a different county. Who knows? Who now has the money and says, you know what? I want that house, and I'm willing to give you so much because I just sold my house for so much. And so therefore, it was kicking the can. That it was just being passed down to everybody that was selling the houses, and everybody was an expert. Everybody in real estate was an expert. Hey, I'll list your house and I'll sell it within 30 days, less than 30 days. I mean, it didn't take a genius to do that. And I'm saying that because I'm in the field. So therefore, I can say that I can talk to my fellow realtors because that was not the case. The case was demand was just out of control. So now with that, Federal Reserve stepped in at the beginning of the year and says, no more. We need to increase interest rates because that was another factor as well. Interest rates were at the lowest that we have ever seen them since the Obama era. And so now we have been so accustomed for the past 12, 14 years that we see interest rates at 3%, 4%. The interest rates were 7%. Now, Fed Reserve is set to raise interest rates one more time this upcoming week, the first week of November, and they're set to raise them by 0.75 basis points. So now what does that mean for you if you're trying to buy a house? Well, that means that interest rates for a mortgage is going to go up. Now, they raise the interest rates not on the mortgage only. This is the index interest that they raise that tracks personal loans, credit cards, car loans, you name it, all kinds of interest. And interest rates for a mortgage are included in that index. So will we see them at 7.5, maybe 8% by the end of the year? Most likely. My prediction, what I think is going to happen is we're probably going to see them by 7.5 by the end of the year, just because they're raising them 75 basis points. It doesn't mean that it's going to go, the interest are going to, for mortgage, the interest rate is going to go up from 7% to 7.75%. It just means that it is an index, and it's going to have to, those 75 basis points are going to have to reflect the mortgage interest, which therefore it might cause them to go 7.2, 7.25, 7.15. We don't know. We just have to wait and see what happens. If you're a seller, what we're seeing right now, if you're selling in this market, you're thinking, well, if I sell, where am I going to go? Because I don't want to go buy if my interest rate's locked in at 3% and 4%. And I don't want to go buy something right now that is going to cost me 7% because I'm going to pay more for that. If you're a buyer, you're thinking to yourself, well, I was qualified 400, 500,000. At least that's what we're seeing it here in California, Southern California. My payment was going to be $2,500 at 5%. Now with the interest rates going up to 7%, 7.2%, your payment is no longer going to be $2,500. It may be $3,200. It may be $33. It may be $35. So if you're a buyer, you're thinking, well, I got to pay $1,000 more in just interest rates. Well, then I don't think I want to buy right now. So we get caught up in this dilemma of what is going to happen. So what that has done, based on a report, the National Association of Realtors just came up for the month of September, because in real estate, we get the data behind. We don't get it current. Just when you're in the stock market, it changes from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. Numbers are changing and you get current data every single day. Not the case with real estate. So now we got the data for the month of September, and the month of September says the month over month, meaning September compared to August, we saw a decline of almost 2% in home sales year over year. Okay, year over year. This is across the country, by the way. We have seen a decline of 25%, meaning we're selling 25% less homes compared to last year, September 2021. So that goes to show you, and then also the months of inventory as of September 2021 was 2.4. Today, we're seeing it at 3.2. Now, Marcelino, what does that mean? What is months of inventory? Well, simply what it means is that on a healthy market, if we have 6 months of inventory, that is a very healthy market. We can go without adding any more homes into the housing market. We will have about 6 months of inventory. If we go at a pace that the data shows us, how many homes we sell per day, per month, per year. That is what the 6 months of inventory means. Now, last year was 2.4. This year is 3.2. I remember last year, a lot of realtors were telling you, hey, we're at the lowest of all time, which we were, 1.5, 1.8. This is the time to buy. I come from a different place. I thought to myself, it's going to come back up. And it's just a matter of time. And it's going to go back up because this cannot sustain itself. Prices cannot just keep inflating. It's like a balloon. When you're inflating a balloon, okay? When you're inflating a balloon, you just cannot blow and blow and blow because eventually it's going to pop. You have to deflate. Same thing when you're going in a car. You cannot just keep going fast and fast and fast, faster and faster. You eventually have to decelerate, okay, to regain your course. So this is what needed to happen. We needed to decelerate. So prices that we see in them at $500,000, maybe before pandemic, they probably went up to $700,000, $750,000. I'm talking about prices in California because I know that if you're in Oklahoma, if you're in Mississippi, you don't see those type of prices. But in California, we see those prices. So now what will happen is $750,000. That for me, that's an artificial price. That is an artificial tag that is going to have to come back down. Now, will we see a market crash? Is the Federal Reserve trying to crash the real estate market? I don't believe so. This is just inflation that we're looking to curb because that is our biggest concern right now. Inflation. How do we tackle? What can we do to tackle inflation? Well, the only way that we can do that is by raising the interest rates up. And my personal belief is that we will see prices go back down to pre-COVID levels. And that's the example I was looking to give you. If you saw the prices at 500,000 before COVID, then inflated to 750,000, we're probably going to see them come back down to 500,000 level. I just talked to someone who just cannot sell his house. They cannot sell the house. It's been on the market for 4 or 5 months, sitting at a certain price. And this price he could have gotten if he sold it last year, which we talked to the client. He could have sold it at that price, but he decided not to. Now, therefore, guess what? He's not even going to get, close to that price. He would have gotten more, but he's not going to get close to that. Now we have to come down $75,000, almost $100,000 less than what he would have gotten. And we got to get ahead of the curve, because when you're in the game, this is the problem that we're seeing as well. That's why prices haven't really calmed down, because there's a lot of sellers denial. A lot of sellers are not accepting the fact that, well, if my neighbor sold at 600,000 and she sold at 650, therefore my house is the best, so therefore I should get 675. But you know what? Let's put it at 650. Let's see what we get. And that's not the game that we're in. That's not the type of market. You need to understand how this market is being played. And one big factor that they're not considering is the interest rates being almost twice as much just from what we were 6 months ago. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 3.5, 3%, now 7%. You do the math. How many more thousands of dollars is going to cost the buyer if they buy at that price that, if you're the seller, you're looking to get? So what you need to do is get ahead of the curve, get in front of the market, not chase the market, because the market is going downhill. So you don't want to be behind it trying to chase going downhill, chasing after it. You want to be in front of it so you can catch whatever the market is going to bring you. You got to price yourself at a price that is going to be affordable with this interest rates going up, because the demand is there. Even though we're seeing less and less sales, everybody wants a home. A lot of people want a home. That's one of their dreams. I don't believe it's the American dream, but that's another topic. But a lot of people have that dream. They want to buy a house, but it's just gotten so expensive at this specific moment that they're looking for different ways. Maybe I go out and rent. Well, here comes the investors that have the money, that have the down payment, that have the 20% for them to go buy that property. Now, how do we get here even in the first place? Well, all the stimulus that was given out during the COVID era, okay? And I'm not talking about the $2,000 check that you got by mail. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the entire economy. If you look at it from that angle, you're looking at a very small glass. You got to look at the big picture, how the Federal Reserve stimulated the economy. Part of that was interest rates. That was one of the ways to stimulate the economy. And Ronald Reagan once said, he said, inflation is the cause of people receiving what they thought it was free money from the government, but it's really not. Now they have to realize that they have to pay it back. So during those times when, if you didn't have a job or you were laid off and you were making more money than your job, this is the cause of it. This is what we pay for it. Okay, because nothing is free. When I hear we're like, I will do this for free and something. No, nothing is free. Everything has a price. And you need to understand that. If you can't operate from that mindset that oh my God, everything is free and I'm gonna get this for free, everything eventually has a price. And this is the price that we're paying right now for all of that stimulus that we gave out during COVID. If you're in the game of real estate, you start creating your own ecosystem. What do I mean by ecosystem? You start finding buyers, you start finding people that have been sitting on the shadows, maybe investors who were looking for an opportunity, somebody that maybe is not ready to buy right now. Maybe they want to buy a little bit later. 6 months, you give them value. You approach this market with value. And it's not about closing a deal. It's not about you closing as many homes as you can. It's about how many families can you help, because families want a home and they have children that they have inspired. I'm a father myself. I have dreams that my kids, play around in the yard when I first bought my house. So I know that just like I had that dream, I know there's a lot of people that have that dream as well. So it is my duty, it's my responsibility to go find them and not retreat from the current market that we're in right now, because that is exactly what we're seeing right now. Most realtors, most people in the real estate business, and not just in real estate, but the media, everybody's trying to insert fear into people, saying that this is going to crash, that is going to crash. And then you start believing that, what you put in your mind to. So my only recommendation to you is that you get around the right people. You ask the right questions, because you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. You ask lousy questions, you get lousy answers. So get around the right people. Make your own ecosystem when it comes to building a business that is going to help you if you're in the real estate business. But also, again, If you are looking to get into the housing market, you may not want to hear this, but this is going to be the next 12 to 24 months are going to be beautiful. Are going to be beautiful in the sense that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to make a decision, for you to find something that you would want to buy, that you would want to own. But with that, like I said, make sure that you get around the right people, you get the right data. Make sure that you understand how much debt do you have, because that is very big. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that is not a good number. 60% of America, meaning that 7 people out of 10 that you meet on the street, 7 people out of those are living paycheck to paycheck. And then most of them are showing you a lifestyle that they don't even own, that they don't even have. Why? Because we get carried by the social media desires that we see that, I got to get a watch, I got to get a ring, I got to get my chain, I have to look good, I have to go get my car. And it's your duty, your responsibility, especially if you have children, to make sure that you don't fall for those desires, for those fantasies of social media, that you understand that if you have a goal, you got to make the decision that nothing is going to get in the way of reaching that goal. And if one of those goals is for you to own a home for your family, the next 12 to 24 months are going to be beautiful. Make sure you get the right data from the right people. Make sure that you get the right data from reliable sources, so that therefore you can make the decision for yourself and your family. With that being said, I hope that you found some value in this video. Hey, social media is going to be down below. Hit the bell notification button right over here. The whole purpose of our channel is to come from a space of contribution and give value to the community by either self-development, by what I just shared with you right now, and also giving you some entertainment as well. But you let me know what type of videos you want me to share with you, because I'll be happy to make those. But with that being said, I hope that you find the value. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video to somebody that will help them make a decision for themselves when it comes to finding the new home. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.